Metroplex. Metroplex is the Autobot Ultimate Weapon, their greatest and final defense when all hope is lost. He is a city-sized transformer, towering warrior, capable of challenging incredible power and energies. This Titan's great modesty about his power and achievements together with boundless patience. Strong beyond belief, versatile, clever, brave, and self-sacrificing. Metroplex is willing to give everything he has to the Autobot cause and defend it to the very last of his spark. Despite all that, he's wrecked to the core of being the belief that he should and could do more. When evil comes and threatens and all hope seems lost, Metroplex is there to back up his fellow Autobots. Metroplex is an independent base and at other times part of the Autobot City, aka Scramble City. Metroplex Powers and Abilities. Metroplex is massive both in size and strength. He can lift up to 75 tons, and due to his enormous mass strength and power, he can crush a town with mere force and blows. In addition to his great raw power, Metroplex possesses incredible durability. It would require at least a low-yield trans-wrap explosion to even put a scratch on his tremendous thick Cybertronian heavily armored body. His left shoulder mounted twin high-energy master simulated emissions of radiation cannons and retractable, receiving a transmitted rod antenna in the right shoulder of his chest. Molecule contains a storage bay capable of holding a mid-sized vehicle. In Autobot City mode, he has a helipad and ramps leading to the storage bay and various repair bays. Using a full complement of artillery, wielders, pressures, and microsensor gauges and spare parts, he is able to service up 4 vehicles at any time at any moment. His left rear tower transforms into a tank called a slammer. Metroplex can control the slammer for a maximum range of 40 miles. Slammer cannons shoot explosive rockets, propelled motor shells that have a 1.5 range. The small sports car beneath Metroplex carries a side-mounted electro blaster that shoots streams of 20,000 volts of electricity. In Robot Road, Scrambler uses a high-energy particle beam pistol. Scrambler has a high maximum speed of 150 miles an hour and a range of 500 miles. 6 guns. The small robot, made literally of 6 guns, Metroplex Central Tower, is a walking, talking artillery battery. In addition to the twin surface-to-air guide missile launchers wears on his back. 6 gun is an ion pulse rifles from his arms and sometimes uses the 7th gun, a high-temperature pistol that can melt through most of Cybertronian metal. Scrambler and 6 gun operate independently of Metroplex. Each has a mind of its own. Although each is essentially in personality nearly identical to Metroplex and his mind linked to him and others, Scrambler tends to be more impulsive. Metroplex uses Scrambler, 6 gun, and Slammer to scout to defend, although occasionally he sends one or more on short missions. Metroplex final form, the mobile battle station, is wielded battle platform, whose firepower makes him virtually untouchable in this mode. Metroplex can have up to 12 pieces of artillery, in addition to the previous mentioned master cannons, ion pulse, rifles, and mission launchers. He is equipped with the twin independent mound rays on top, capable of interfering electricity currents with a target and a body locked on. 2 laser lances and 2 mounted in front of the antimatter. The most powerful of his weapons, which are capable of producing shooting minute packets of antimatter that can obliterate anything upon contact. Metroplex can use all these weapons in his Autobot City mode. Metroplex Transformer Cartoons. Metroplex have been installed a subsection of the large Autobot City, now the main base of operations for the Autobots on Earth. During the Decepticon attack on the city, transforming Cog, which allowed Metroplex to transform to a robot mode, was destroyed, preventing him to participating in the battle. Following the defeat of Unicron, the Autobots reclaimed Cybertron. Perceptor built a new transforming Cog for Metroplex. While they were busy suffering numerous setbacks, including nearly getting killed by Galvatron and being stranded on the Jupiter moon, the immobile Metroplex was attacked by the Decepticons' new mobile battle station, Trypticon, who had been created expressly to serve as Metroplex opposite number and true enemy. Metroplex was again manually transformed to the battle station mode by his inhabitant modes in hopes of mounting for some force of a defense, but things were not looking hopeful. At the height of the battle, Blur and Willie were safely brought to the Earth by Skylinks and quickly handed transforming Cog to the pieces to Pipes for having to install. Pipes carried out the task all due on his shoulders, and Metroplex promptly transformed into robot mode, thrashed Trypticon, and threw him and tossed him deep into the depths of the ocean. Although the Autobot figure to the end of Trypticon, he managed to survive. Metroplex and his allies questioned all the Autobots with the dinosaurs' electrons in their circuits, but when Trypticon was finally revealed to be culprit, Metroplex battled him in Russia. Unfortunately, Metroplex was then left holding the building, and the Soviets blamed the Autobots for the theft and expelled them from their country. However, the Autobots went to the country of Cambodia to help out the Lust Decepticon takeover, and Metroplex delivered another sound defeat to Trypticon, tossing him into the ocean yet again and returning the stolen building to the rightful place. After coming, the Autobots composed under the attack of Metroplex and trapped it in the city mode. The Autobots related by stealing Trypticon's cog and using it to replace it. The Decepticons proceeded to use Metroplex's cog in the place of Trypticon, but the incompatible of the cogs in each of the giant robots led to an unsettling battle, with both particularly transforming back and forth consistently. First Aid proceeding to enter Metroplex's body during the fight and align the cog properly, allowing Metroplex to fully transform and yet again filing Trypticon back into the body of water. This would be the rise of the ultimate Autobot weapon, known as Metroplex. Metroplex, Marvel Comics UK. Metroplex is the largest Autobot on records at just under 700 feet in height, entirely too large to wander Earth freely. Metroplex accepted without complaints of his role and his sign. He would become the living core of the Autobot City, built in the very fabric of the city upon its creation. Metroplex lay dormant beneath its surface of the city, with the ability to transform the city mode into a heavily armored battle station when needed. The city itself becomes the ultimate weapon of war. When the Quintessons invaded and took control of the Autobot City as a part of Complex, only a few Autobots were able to avoid the capture. Optimus Prime, temporarily reverted to Hot Rod, was one of the lucky few and managed to activate Metroplex. The towering Autobot tore his way from beneath the city, already in a bad mood after being so rudely wakened, immediately began smashing and blasting the Quintessons that started attacking him. The fight was distinctly one side, and before long, Metroplex successfully had driven and invaded the aliens off. As the Autobot City was largely gutted, Metroplex emerged. It was something of a heroic victory for the Autobots. Metroplex Cybertron Cartoons. When the Autobots first appeared on Giganation, Metroplex was at first very wary of them, believing that the group had formed from the mysterious planet known as Planet X. As this was not the case, he submitted to Quickmix, agreed to hear out the newcomers. Optimus Prime and Vector Prime explained they needed to find the Giganation Cybertron planet key in order to save their own homeworld, and they believed that the clues may have been hidden in order the cities of Giganation. At first, Metroplex and Quickmix refused to lead them into the cities, as it was one of their scared laws to never enter the city they had previously built. However, they changed their minds upon learning that a younger bot, Menasor, had agreed to help the Decepticons. Metroplex would soon encounter Megatron and beat him into submission, destroying Nemesis Beaker in the process, and eventually triggering his upgrade into Galvatron. Galvatron would encounter him again, quickly defeating the lumbering giant. Metroplex accommodated the Autobots in the depths of his world, eventually facing off a Menasor in a brief clash that ended with the reconciliation between the two. Metroplex continued to aid the Autobots from engaging Ransack in the final battle of the Black Hole. Metroplex Transformers vs. G.I. Joe. Defeated during Megatron's conquest of Cybertron, Metroplex suffered trauma and was trapped inside city mode, but remained mobile and began acting as a revolver city, subjecting the Autobots. A number of Joes captured the Autobot troops, were brought there to face the justice of the Autobot King, Grimlock. After a true fierce was agreed upon, Metroplex opened up for the Autobots and the Joes could reunite with their comrades outside. Unhappy with their alliance, Megatron and his own Cobra allies decided to stomp out the Autobots once and for all, and then attacked Metroplex, using Cobra spy Zartan to infiltrate his walls and open the gates to allow Cobra's troops to enter. Metroplex himself was assaulted by Trypticon, but despite Rodimus Prime's orders and Megatron's annoyance, he still would transform to Robot Mode and fight back. Fortunately, Fortress Maximus joined the fight and kept Trypticon busy, giving Metroplex a chance to sneak away. The Autobots then used Metroplex to travel and face off of Primus in the depths of Cybertron. Metroplex Scrambling City Mobilization. To complete the Scrambling City project, the Autobots moved their operation to the secret Undercavern, but the Decepticon spy cassettes located at the subterranean base, an all-out Decepticon attack was inevitable. Menasor and Bruticus had outnumbered, but the heroic combiner was able to hold up the long line enough for Metroplex to construct was finally complete. Emerging his Finder underground birthplace, Metroplex transformed the city into a battle station mode and took off the battleground, crushing all depths in his pack. The Titanic Autobot transformed to the robot mode and took out the Decepticon combiners with one giant and powerful Cybertronian blast. However, as the Autobots celebrated their victory, the oceans nearby parted and Trypticon emerged for his first battle within Metroplex. Metroplex IDW Comics G1 The Awakening. Metroplex was truly an ancient transformer believed to be very first of the Titans from the Knights of Cybertron. In the ancient times, he defeated the monster known as Trypticon and watched as he was sealed away in the depths of Cybertron. Along the Chelt and Cannabis, Metroplex proceeded along the banishment of both the Valgulum and the Master Liege Maximal during the First Cybertronian Civil War, giving their brothers and allies Carcer before sending them adrift to the stars. Metroplex hoped that this would be the end of them, but wondered if he would be too merciful. Metroplex IDW Comics The Becoming. On Cybertron, Metroplex leaped into battle immediately to defend the new Iacon from the corrupt Necro-Titan that Shockwave had brought back to half-life. As he reached for the lost light, Megatron and Bumblebee realized they needed the ore hidden away inside the missing thumbs. Entering the storage bay, Megatron used his own Titan to teleport Metroplex's thumb back to him. Metroplex then used the ore power to change and restore himself and reduce the Necro-Titan's death plague to be in state, saving the new Iacon. As the Necro-Titan was destroyed, Metroplex settled himself, continued recuperating, but soon an army of 70 billion Ammonites lay siege to the Cybertron and Shockwave's command. Metroplex IDW Comics Spotlight Metroplex. Some 500,000 years after leaving Cybertron, Metroplex had been charged with unidentified object of the great value on the planet Salvatelian. He remained hidden in the plain sight in alternate mode, possessing in merely another section a sprawling mechanic complex of the planet's surface. The Autobot reached the facility of Salvaten seems to be convinced to be a coincidence, but the direct connection between Alvarez Base and Metroplex, or whatever he was guaranteed, was unknown. Metroplex covers a compromise when Alvarez Base was attacked by the devastating power. Decepticon known as Six Shot, nearly the entire crew was wiped out except for 6 Throttlebots, who escaped Salvaten. With 6 Shot's hots on their heels, their time was running out. That led the comrades to Metroplex's hiding spot, a sharp-turn set roll bar and 6 shots through. Metroplex, outermost wall. His defense breached. Metroplex transformed to robot mode, taking the opportunity to squash Six Shot under his boot in the process, with the position compromised. Metroplex's first priority was immediate reaction from himself, presumably the object he protected. He directed the Throttlebots where they could find an escape. Metroplex, Fall of Cybertron. Metroplex had been lying dormant in what would become an Autobot City for thousands of years, and inadvertently became a part of the battle when Megatron attacked the Arc. After pulling a switch or two, Autobot leader Optimus Prime observed the interior of Metroplex, consistently shifting and transforming. After using a turret to help find the Decepticons, Optimus found and heard a mysterious bright light by the shifting interior. Sensing a strong Cybertronian presence, Optimus desperately ordered the entity to help him and the Autobots in their desperate time of need. After the final switch in the interior had begun to transform into an immense, powerful Autobot, Metroplex, who had heeded the call of the last Prime. Metroplex presence on the battlefield providing invaluable to the struggling Autobots, the Titans easily wiped out most of the Decepticon army. Metroplex would launch a devastating airstrike whatever target Optimus marked, and the destruction, and the Clovis was able to wipe out the Megatron's equal massive guns that were giving the Autobots a hard time to leave the planet Cybertron. However, just as it was destroyed, the last towers, it shot Metroplex point blank in the chest, falling the mighty giant down to the ground. Fearing for the worst, Optimus' push was captured by the Decepticons and brought to Megatron, who mocked and betrayed the helpless Autobot leader. However, the evil villain gloated too much, and Metroplex revealed his presence and survived, approaching from the back of Megatron's base. After Metroplex breached the walls of the base, the Decepticons were quick to back away as a huge threat emerged, but Megatron ordered them to stand their ground. It was at this point Metroplex had enough trying and crushed him several times with his enormous Titan fist, killing Megatron to the shock of the Decepticons, who were soon and were taken over by the new leadership of Starscream. Unfortunately, the energon used to fuel Metroplex and the Autobots' defense in the Autobot City drained their supplies, preventing the Arc from being launched. Still, Optimus was glad to have an ally like Metroplex on his side. Days later, the Autobots located another source of energon, only for it to be held thanks to the Decepticons. Metroplex offered to sacrifice his life, donating the energon inside him to give the Arc enough juice to launch. Optimus protested, connecting his spark to the fuel tanks. There was enough energon to launch the ship. The heroic Titan collapsed in the final time, but was so pleased to see his Autobots finally leaving Cybertron. In his dying moments, Metroplex's last words were, "Till all are one." Optimus sadly swore that Metroplex's sacrifice would never be forgotten and would always be remembered as the true hero of Cybertron. So what did we learn from our TF education featuring Metroplex? We learned he's loyal, fearless, powerful, massive. He's the Autobots' ultimate weapon. When all hope is lost, he heeds the call of the last Prime to awaken when the Autobots are at their last hope of defeat. So hope you guys enjoyed the TF education. Make sure to send me what Transformer artifact, or anything involving the Transformers lore you might want to learn about. You might get your video featured and a shout out. Aaron Lott, you've been waiting for it. I hope you enjoyed your Metroplex TF education video. I got a couple of shout outs to give as well. I'm going to give a couple of shout outs to Swag King 18, Snoken 2, Lord Darko, Pride Ed, BB, BBR, Super Pixel Warrior, Dread Nation, David Prime, Orion Prime, Drift Lover, and Tane281. They did the hashtag hire LPS. They get a shout out for it, guys. I appreciate it so much. Let me know in the comment section below what Transformer artifact, or anything involving the Transformers lore you want to learn. You might get a shout out and your video featured in the next Transformers education video, guys. I told you TF Education's back. I got a lot more speculations coming from you. Make sure to hit that like button. Follow me at Twitter at Prime Speculator. Follow me on Instagram at Last Prime Speculator. To my subscribers, I love you so much. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to this channel. If you're not familiar with this channel, we dig deep in the lore of Transformers. This is LPS delivering you another Transformers education. Peace.